Hello everyone. Now we will discuss about the zoology second year important questions regarding the IP March 2023 examination. Already second year botany examination has been completed. In the long answer, you have got the unexpected question, that is a sea-waste treatment. Like that, in this zoology exam also, you have to concentrate on the unexpected questions also particularly. And we'll start about the very short answers first. Very short answers, whatever we had lesson wise, if you are seeing, that means maximum repeated questions we are discussing now. In the first lesson, that is the digestion. From the digestion, maximum there is a chance of getting of particularly autocatalysis, chyme, dentition. Maximum these questions, whatever we had actually, and assimilation, digestion, difference between assimilation and digestion. Maximum these are the questions. There is a chance of asking from the particularly first lesson, that is the digestion. If you are moving for the second lesson, there is a respiration. From the respiration, turbinals or else concave, oxyhemoglobin dissociation curve, or else about the PCO2, that is actually partial carbon dioxide concentration, that thing, and then Hamburger's phenomena or else chloride shift, and then two occupational respiratory disorders. These are the very short answers, which is maximum they will concentrate on the second lesson, that is a respiration. Then if you are moving for the third lesson, circulation, maximum from the circulation there is no chance of very short answers particularly. They will ask the long answer from the circulation, that's why they will not ask the very short particularly. If they are asking also, they may ask about the valve of thebasis, eustachian wall, tricuspid wall, bicuspid wall. Like these questions you have to concentrate in the very short answers particularly in the circulation. If you are going for the excretion, in the excretion particularly columns of Bettini, then about the juxtamedullary nephron, then juxtamedullary apparatus, differences between the renin, renin, then renin, renin, then erythropoietin hormone, and this we have to concentrate particularly in the particular excretion. And after you are moving for the excretion, if you are moving for the particular musculoskeletal system, in the musculoskeletal system particularly if you are concentrating, that means muscle system, if you are concentrating particular differences between the actin and myosin. Then about the triad system, maximum there is a chance of getting these questions from the muscle particularly. Then if you are moving for the particular skeletal system, in the skeletal system keystone bone, then about the particularly why human skull is known as dicondyle skull particularly. These are the maximum questions we are getting from the particular this thing. And sometimes from the muscle they may ask about the differences between the red muscle fibers and white muscle fiber particularly. There is a chance of getting. And after the musculoskeletal system, if you are moving for the neural control and coordination, from the neural control and coordination particularly we may get about the corpus callosum, and about the particular which are concentrating on the particular brain. About the corpus callosum we may get, or else arbora vitae we may get, rods and cones we may get, then organ of Corti we may get, about the parasympathetic and sympathetic nerves, thoracolumbar outflow and craniosacral outflow. These questions maximum we are getting from what? We are getting from the neural control and coordination. After neural control and coordination, if you are moving for the particular endocrine system, in the endocrine system particularly differences between the diabetes insipidus, diabetes mellitus, insulin shock, and then maximum these are the islets of, about the islets of Langerhans particularly. These are the questions maximum we may concentrate in the particular endocrine system particularly. And why pituitary gland is known as master gland of the body, why thymus gland is a large when we are comparing with other glands particularly, which is the largest gland in the particular endocrine system. All these things you have to concentrate particularly in the endocrine system. Apart, and then about the perforans and granzymes particularly we have to concentrate here. Apart from the endocrine system, if you are moving for the particularly immunology, in the immunology particularly different types of the mononuclear phagocytic cells, then complement proteins, and about the colostrum, importance of the colostrum particularly, immune, then immune system particularly, and then about the B cells, importance of the B cells particularly, primary lymphoid organs, secondary lymphoid organs, just difference we have to see particularly. These are the maximum chance of getting from the particular immune system. After immune system, if you are moving for the particular reproductive system, particularly in the reproductive system, maximum 2 marks they may not ask particularly. If they are asking the 2 marks also, differences between the spermatogenesis and spermiation particularly, and about the Sertoli cells and Leydig cells particularly, and structure of sperm, they'll ask for the 2 marks also particularly, and androgens, particular definition of the androgens, they'll ask for the 2 marks particularly from the reproductive system. If you are moving for the reproductive health particularly, in the reproductive health particularly, they are concentrating on the amniocentesis, lactational amenorrhea, and then about the different STDs, the preventive measures of the STDs for the 2 marks they'll ask particularly, and maximum they'll ask the 2 marks from these questions only from the reproductive health particularly here. And then if you are moving for the genetics, after the reproductive health, if you are moving for the genetics particularly, in the genetics for the 2 marks maximum, there are most of the questions they are there in the genetics particularly, but we have to consider the pleiotropy, polygenic inheritance, then a definition of the multiple allelism, then about the disorders of the particular chromosomal disorders, whatever we had, Turner syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, like this, whatever we had, actually we have to concentrate here. Sometimes they'll ask for the 2 marks particularly, and then about the particular bar body, and then about the lionization particularly, we have to concentrate in the genetics here particularly, and then about the DNA fingerprinting. The DNA fingerprinting, we will get about the VMTRS, variable number tandem repeats, then human genome project, particularly some important points we have to see particularly, and maximum we'll get from the these questions here, but we have to concentrate more on the all the questions particularly from genetics, but we can't expect particularly repeated questions from the genetics here. If we are moving for the organic evolutions particularly, in the organic evolution, panspermia, whatever we had, actually panspermia we had, then about the mutations, and in that particular organic evolution, about the connecting links, what are the connecting links we had. Connecting links also, they are very important in the particular organic evolution. And the definitions, whatever we had particularly, we have to see in see the definitions and all these things, particular genetic drift particularly we have to see in the organic evolution. Then apart from the organic evolution, if you are moving for the last, that is applied biology. In the applied biology, maximum hypophysation we had, then about the apiculture, differences between the apiculture we had, then differences between the pisciculture, aquaculture, then important fish byproducts we had, then importance of the particular apiculture we had, then about the particularly garden angel of cell genome, why mRNA is harmless particularly, then about the vaccines, then important 4 points about the cancer cells, like these questions whatever we had from the particularly last applied biology, we may get from the applied biology particularly here. And about the breeds and all these things, about the mule and henny, that also we have to concentrate on the applied biology. These are about the very short answers. If you are going for the short answers particularly, again if you are starting from the first lesson, that is the digestion. From the digestion particularly, digestion of the proteins, then functions of the liver, and the structure of tooth diagram. These are the questions that are very important from the first lesson, that is the digestion. If you are moving for the second lesson, that is the respiration particularly. From the respiration and mechanism of the inspiration and expiration. Apart from the mechanism of the inspiration and expiration, transport of the methods of the transport of the carbon dioxide, right? There is one thing. And then about the particular thing, if you are concentrating disorders of the respiratory system, we have to see particularly. These are the important in the respiratory system. If you are moving for the third, that is actually circulatory system. We are actually in circulatory system. Maximum differences between the arteries and veins we had. Apart from the arteries and veins, actually cardiac cycle, whatever we had, actually cardiac cycle also important, and then mechanism of the blood clotting particularly, that is important in the circulation particularly here. After the circulation, if you are moving for the excretion, in the excretion particularly structure of the kidney diagram, and then description of the particular structure of kidney we have to see, and countercurrent mechanism. Maximum, they are the maximum important questions from the particular excretion. If they are not asking these two questions, they may ask about the different excretory related organs in the body, that they will ask particularly in the excretory system. And after excretory system, if you are moving for the particularly endocrine system particularly, in the endocrine system particularly, differences between the pituitary and thyroid, Addison's disease and Cushing's disease particularly, and then about the hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, and mechanism of the mechanism of the hormones, mechanism of the function of the hormones particularly we have to see. Then about the pituitary hormones, description of the pituitary hormones also we may get in the particularly 4 marks answers from the endocrine system. If you are moving for the immunity, that is actually immune system. In the immune system particularly, types of immunity we have to concentrate, and very important, that is actually structure of immunoglobulin, that means structure of antibody, and barriers of immunity, particularly barriers of immunity also we have to see particularly. Apart from that thing actually, different primary lymphoid organs, secondary lymphoid organs, and cells of the immune system particularly we have to see. Then if they are not asking about these things, maximum important question from the immunity is actually mechanism of the cell mediated immunity. Maximum they'll ask about the cell mediated immunity in the most of the examination, but if they are not asking that thing, they may go for the humoral mediated immunity mechanism. If they are not asking about all these things, they may go for the HIV multiplication particularly from the immune system. And moving apart from the immune system, if you are moving for the reproductive system, that means the reproductive system, maximum from the reproductive system we'll get the 8 marks answer. That's why they will not concentrate on the very short and short particularly. If they are asking the short also particularly, they'll ask about the functions of the placenta, and then particularly oogenesis and spermatogenesis, maximum they'll ask particularly here, and structure of the ovarian follicle particularly they'll ask for the 4 marks from the reproductive system. And compulsory 4 marks question from the reproductive health. In the reproductive health particularly, different types of the sexually transmitted diseases we had, and then about the surgical methods of the contraception we had, then about the different assisted reproductive technologies particularly, that means in vitro fertilization, GIF2, ICSI, like that questions particularly we had. They are very important for the 4 marks. Compulsory 1 4-mark question from the reproductive health. Very less questions are there, but compulsory 1 question from the reproductive health particularly. If you are moving for the genetics, from the genetics actually 4 marks answers if we are concentrating particularly. Erythroblastosis fetalis we had, genic balance theory we had, then about the, sometimes they'll ask about the multiple allelism also for the 4 marks particularly, and sometimes they'll ask for the 8 marks here, and the genic balance theory we had, and about the particular genetic disorders, maximum genetic disorders they'll ask particularly, but genetic disorders also we have to concentrate here. If they are not asking about genetic disorders and all these things, they'll go for the human genome project, and then particularly DNA fingerprinting, we have to see about these things. And sometimes if they are asking for the 4 marks, they'll ask the 4 marks particularly the sex determination also. Sometimes they'll ask for the 4 marks here particularly. And if we are moving for the particular organic evolution, in the organic evolution particularly, if you are concentrating on the 4 marks here, and for the 4 marks, types of the breedings rarely they will ask, not they will ask regularly particularly, but very important question in the particular this thing is actually MOET. MOET is a very important in the particular applied biology. Apart from the MOET, avian flu we had, then about the importance of the honey, then the methods involved, that means the methods involved in the different aquaculture methods, like inland fishery, outland fishery they will ask actually. And then about the particularly importance of the fishery industries, why aquaculture is a commercially important industry particularly we have to see particular, that is a very important question. And then if they are asking, if they are not asking these things, they will concentrate on the particularly types of cancers and structure of particularly insulin we have to see, structure of the particular insulin and types of cancers, and vaccines also sometimes they will ask particularly. And maximum important question in the particular applied biology is actually ECG clinical interference. About the waves of the ECG we have to explain all these things, and sometimes they will ask about the MRI scan also, and rarely if they want to ask, they will ask about the ELISA, enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. This is about the 4 marks questions particularly from the all the lessons of the particular things. And if you are going for the 8 marks particularly, maximum from the physiology topics whatever we had, from the physiology topics, out of the physiology we'll get one long answer, that is actually physiology of urine formation, then structure of the heart, then working of the heart, structure of the brain. Maximum from the excretion they are asking, physiology of the urine formation they will ask. If they are not asking the physiology of the urine formation, they will ask about the structure of nephron. From the particular circulation, that means from the heart, if they want to ask actually, they will ask about the structure of heart, that means external internal structure of the heart. If they are not asking the external internal structure of the heart particularly, they will go for the working of the heart particularly. And in the brain particularly, they will ask about the structure of the particular this thing about the brain. If they are not asking about structure of the brain, if rarely they have to ask any tough question, they will ask about the synaptic transmission. 4 marks they will ask, and then this thing they will ask. And for the 4 marks also particularly from the this thing, they will ask about the spinal cord diagram also. Then maximum from the physiology, that means brain, heart too, then excretory system will get 1 question. You have to concentrate on these questions particularly. And if you are moving for the reproduction, next reproduction, in the reproduction, male reproductive system, female reproductive system, out of these two questions compulsory will get one question. If they are not asking the male and female reproductive system from the reproductive system, they may go for the development of embryo, that means stages of the development of embryo. Rarely they will ask of this question, but they will maximum ask the male and female reproductive system only. Then if you are moving for the genetics, from the genetics particularly multiple allelism is the question, that means for the 8 marks. Then sex determination, in the, that means different methods, homozygosity, heterozygosity, like that we will ask particularly. Sexual determination, criss-cross inheritance is a long answer again. If they are not asking these three questions, sometimes they may ask about the genetic disorders or else chromosomal disorders also they will ask particularly. And then lastly, rarely if they want to ask, they will ask about the human genome project and DNA fingerprinting, sometimes also for the 8 marks here. They are the 8 marks questions particularly here. From the physiology one question we will get, from the reproduction one question we will get, and from the particular genetics we will get. If they want to tilt the question, if they want to change any, if they want to ask stuff and something, actually they may give from the last unit. That is what actually from the last unit particularly, that is ECG they may ask particularly for the 8 marks. And particularly diagrams also you have to concentrate particularly here. Structure of tooth, structure of kidney, then about the structure of spinal cord, particularly human retina, that means eye diagram you have to see particularly. Then from the particular organic evolution, if you are going, organic evolution we have been forgotten, but organic evolution, homologous organs, analogous organs, industrial mechanism according to Darwin's theory, theory of mutations, neo-Darwinism. Then particularly we have to see, and the different types of the selections also we have to see from the organic evolution. And as you know, the botany paper, whatever you got in the long answer, somewhat unexpected you got, that is actually sewage treatment you got apart from the long answers. You expected long answer. Here also first you have to concentrate on all the important, and also you have to look the particularly other questions also you have to look. All the best for your examination, hoping for your success in your examination.